everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillia, and today we're going plus ultra! After all, we're talking about My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising. This movie was absolutely amazing. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie, and it was one of those films that had a very basic plot, but the execution of the plot was actually so good that it made up for the fact that it wasn't that complicated. And if I'm honest with you, any anime fan can just come in and watch this film and understand what's happening. They might not get the whole emotional aspect 100% if they're not a fan of My Hero Academia, but it is one of those films that you can introduce to any of your friends who's getting into anime and be like, look, there's a series called My Hero Academia, and it's really good. There's quite a few seasons, but just give this film a try. If you like this film, then you're going to love the series. And it's easy to understand and pick up where every character is coming from. That's one thing about this film that I really, really did like. Like I said, the plot was very straightforward and linear. You know, you got the main villain. He comes in. He wants this power that this kid has called Kasuma. I think his name's Kasuma. And so this villain called Nine wants this kid's power. And the class of 1A are on this island where they have to act like heroes and help out the residents of this island. They've got no help from any of the pros or any of the teachers. It's just them on this island doing their own hero kind of stuff and things, and they have to now fend the island against this group of villains that have come to attack them. Now, honestly, like I said, it sounds straightforward, it sounds basic, but the emotional weight behind this film and the action, the animation, the music, everything was absolutely stunning while watching it. Now, this video will contain spoilers as I go through talking about bits of the films that I really did like and some of the parts I didn't like. So you will have spoilers for the film. And this film does actually spoil the anime. Because this film is actually, in my opinion, placed between where the manga is at the moment, as of recording this video, and where the anime actually is currently airing to. Now, I'm going to be making a video on my thoughts on the timeline of when this film fits into place, so stay tuned for that afterwards, but let's just talk about some of the stuff. So then, first things first, Deku. The main character, Izuku Midoriya. And, honestly, seeing him team up with Bakugo was actually a conflicting dynamic in this film, as I enjoyed them working together, but it's their individual characters and their individual development and progress and showcasing, that's what really made this film all that more greater, in my personal opinion. So, Midoriya, Deku, Izuku, however you want to call him, they're all correct. Seeing him go as far as he did in this film, for me, was a great sign that his character is thoroughly improving and lives up to his ideals and goals, no matter the sacrifices. We get this really nice and emotional scene of Deku transferring one for all to Bakugo. Now, Deku obviously is a smart and talented fighter. You know, he thinks with his brain, he likes to think of the situation and strategy and plans, and he comes up with the fact that they need two one-for-alls in order to defeat this villain. This villain is that overpowered, and yet still handicapped, that they need two one-for-alls. Now, the scene of Midoriya transferring over one-for-all, for me, I don't know, we laugh at the fact that Deku was like, did that face with All Might, whereas like, eat this, and it was a piece of the hair. But just like touching blood to another open wound, I thought that was kind of a little bit, okay, maybe not really a full transfer. Maybe if he shoved his finger that was bleeding in his mouth or something, that would have worked better. But I guess that's just a plot hole they used at the end of the film to make up for what they did. Now then, the reason why this had such a big impact on Midoriya and was such an emotional heavy scene is because the fact that Deku was quirkless to start with. And this is why I love the fact that he made this sacrifice. Knowing that he'll return to the quirkless person that he was. And we know as an audience who have seen My Hero Academia or read the manga, we know just how much that quirk and the idea of being All Might's successor means to him. And the fact that he gave that up in this film, just so he can save 2 kids and an island full of people that aren't really strangers, but they are technically strangers to him. I mean, he's only known them for about a week or so, and he's willing to do that. So it proves to me that Midoriya, he's a hero through and through. It doesn't matter if you're a stranger or if you're someone new. He's gonna be there for you. And do it with a smile. But then on the other side, you got Bakugo. He was more of a comedic type of character in this film, and we all know what his personality is like. It's rude, obnoxious, over the top, aggressive. And it shows very much in this film. But the fact that he's starting to not really ask for help, like he would never ask for help, but he's starting to assist the other students within this film, shows me, and us as the viewers, that his character is improving / changing slightly. And we do get this brilliant showcase of Bakugo's skills, awareness, and obviously he's a smart fighter. We know he's strong, but this film makes him ridiculously strong. After all, he takes down an enemy pretty much on his own, and then he proceeds to go after the main boss. Like, granted, the enemy he takes down on his own isn't that strong, but, like, come on, he gets beaten pretty badly. So, with these anime films, there's always been a message or meaning behind the film. And this film really wanted to hammer home the fact that 2 people with the same goal, but different ideas on how to achieve that goal, can work together. That's basically what this film was trying to tell us. Because we have Deku, on one hand, he wants to save people and defeat the villains. Bakugo, he wants to defeat the villains to save the people. Now, those are 2 of the same goal. They both want to save, they both want to become a hero, they both want to be the best. However, they both have different ideas and opinions on how to do that. And yet, it shows that they can still work together to achieve their goals. The fights in this film were brilliant, great. The choreography in them was pretty cool. And I loved the planning and the tactics that were involved. Some of the fights that we see in this film were well thought out. Like, for example, I actually think my favourite fight in this film, if you can really call it a fight, was actually the Sero and Uraraka combination. I actually really did like that. That shows quite a lot of choreography, tactics, and 2 characters that don't necessarily get a lot of shine. And a lot of characters got a lot of shine in this episode, in this film. But some were kind of underwhelming. So, let's see some of the characters that impressed me in this film, thanks to their abilities and their determination. Those characters were Uraraka, Ula Gravity. You know, I like her character, she's pretty cool, but in this film she takes it up another level and does her character a lot of justice. Sero, a character that we normally would push to one side, but actually did pretty well. Midoriya, obviously the film focused on him, he's the main character, he's gonna do well, but I did like the fact that he was very reassuring and very calm throughout the film. Bakugo, his development in this film actually showed quite a lot, and there's one thing I love is character development from a character. Momo, she's great, she's cool, she's level-headed, and she puts in a lot of work for her classmates and for the public. You know, she was one of the key characters to help reassure the public and their safety. And yeah, great. The sister, this is one of the new characters, and she's the sister of Kasuma, who basically the villain was after. But she was great. She was she was very sisterly, she was very protective, but I understood where she was coming from. We have Mineta, Kaminari, and finally, Aoyama. Yes, Aoyama did some decent stuff in this episode, in this film. He was actually one of the better characters in it. Now, there are two characters that actually really disappointed me in this film. And it's a little bit of a shame, but those two characters were in fact Tokoyami and Todoroki. These characters weren't the main focus, so I can give them a slight pass on that. However, they fell short very badly. Like, we know they're strong and they're competent fighters, but this film made them look weak compared to some of the other classmates. And honestly, I expected a little bit more. So then the villains. These villains weren't brilliant. They did their jobs. They were meant to be like a wall for the class to overcome. And their reasoning was pretty lame. Like, they wanted to, like, rule the world with power. Like every villain possible. But the League of Villains are already doing that. Like, working towards that goal. So, yeah, I guess. And then we see this main villain called Nine. And he's overpowered as heck. But he's still really nerfed. After all, he's sick and almost dying from the effects of his powers. And he's said to have gotten his name because he can have up to 9 quirks. Now, we see wind, shield / manipulation. We see lasers coming out of his fingers. We see lightning. We see dragons. And if you add in the stealing ability, because he can steal other quirks, that's 5. So we see 5 of his quirks, and he's meant to have 9 in total, or 8 plus his stealing ability. So that's one way of him being nerfed. The other way of him obviously was that illness. So if we actually saw him have all of his quirks at full power and no risk of being ill or losing focus because of being ill, he would be extremely overpowered, and I don't even think All Might, Endeavor, and Hawks together could defeat him. But thus, because it's a film about heroes and the heroes must always win, we see the villain fall. However, one thing really intrigued me about this character, and it's a bit of a spoiler for the anime, but he couldn't steal One for All. And they spoiled the fact now that Deku has multiple quirks locked away within him because of this. But maybe the fact that we didn't see him have all 8 quirks was a storage issue. Maybe that's why he didn't have the 9 or the 8 plus his stealing. We know he wanted one for Kasuma's. Actually, no, hold on a minute. We see 6 because, you know, he has Kasuma's father's quirk, which is pretty pointless, but yeah. Anyway, as far as villains go, I actually put him quite low on my list of favourite villains from My Hero Academia. He just didn't really do much for me. He was better than the last film, by a long way. But again, just no. So a couple of things I disliked. I wasn't a big... Right, hear me out with this one. I wasn't a big fan of the fact that Bakugo managed to use One for All so easily. Let's think about it. Come on, Deku tried so hard and worked so much to kind of make this quirk his own and use his quirk as best as he could. And he just couldn't. At the start, he was always breaking himself. He was always in pain. You know, one punch, not the anime, but, you know. And he would break his arm and he couldn't do anything. His fingers, he would be in so much pain. Bakugo comes along, uses it, full power, maximum, Super Saiyan form. And, yeah, he's able to use it repeatedly without feeling any recoil damage until, like, he wakes up. And I guess we're just going to have to put it to anime bulks. But, hey, yeah, it's an anime thing. Get over it. I didn't like the fact, though, that they were meant to protect the island. And if you look at the details closely, the island is getting blown to pieces by the heroes and destroyed by the heroes. So yeah, good job for that. I mean, you could have literally have killed everybody by destroying that island with your double One for All Detroit Smash, which that was actually pretty cool. I will admit I like that bit quite a bit. The weird eyes, the eyes kind of went a bit weird, which I'm indifferent about. I don't dislike it, I don't like it. It's just there. And the other thing I dislike is Todoroki being in a team and still struggling to defeat a lesser villain. Now, this doesn't make sense. We know that Todoroki is a powerhouse. And in this film, when this, film takes place within the timeline, he should be far stronger than what he is in the current anime at the moment. And honestly, he should be at least second or third strongest within 1A. And in this film, Mineta looks stronger than Todoroki. Yes, they had quite a tricky villain to face, and he was probably the second in command, but, Mineta probably could have done a better job. Like, thrown a grape at his mouth and shut it, and fire blow up everywhere. Todoroki, come on, pull your finger out. But overall, I thought that this animation in this film was consistently good throughout, considering the My Hero Academia art style, and there were some scenes where it was a little bit janky, but that wasn't a massive issue. When the fight scenes came on and when the important scenes came up, the animation quality was at maximum. It was plus ultra. Yeah, you get the message. The music was wonderful, especially the end fight scene, with a dramatic yet heartfelt, emotional, sad and calming music that was well fitted and well placed for that film. Like, it's meant to be a sad moment. Deku passes on the torch of One for All to Bakugo. He's losing his quirk. He's feeling upset, but he's happy. He's smiling that he's able to save these people, but at the same time, it's still quite sad. All in all, this was a very fun film, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. I thought it was amazing. Not the best anime film that I've ever seen, but certainly 10 times better than the other film, Two Heroes. So, if you haven't watched this film yet, make sure you go watch it, and let me know your thoughts on the film down in the comment section below. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike if you disliked the video. Apart from that, have a great day, and I'll see you then. Bye!